atu le mai moanga le tunu ue mawhai o na sila mai moa mai na unanga a le televise a le Universite o Samoa. Leo mawhai o na wina tusa o atu ai FESOLA'I o mata upu wha le awa onga tausanga whaavai mata upu o le tūlafono. A pleasant welcome to my foundation law students. Welcome to our Thursday lecture and a continuation from last Tuesday. I tātou mata upu o le lesson, topic lo na lima, lea tātou te iei pēr lava. A o rei whāua wina le tātou mata upu, a reminder e whamana tuatu. Foundation law students, o le aso atai au e diu ai le tātou assignment lua. Ia o lo tāpunia pēr le tātou campus, a o leo whātulanga atu pēr na wina atu luko le Moodle, whapea foi e-maili, ia ma le whaalawi lo atu, e tiu pēr i le aso atai au, a o le whainga le nei e whaiai, mō tamaiti a onga i upolu nei, o le ai le tātou pusa i luma le main gate. Le main gate le Universite drop mai i ailau assignment. Po ai lava me whaina sau mai drop mai o la i le pusa mai le iwa i le tae au e whaangata i le whai le afiafi. Ai aua e te sau tutonu o lotoa. You are not allowed to come into the campus, so just drop your assignment, then leave. O pui ka lava o lo wha mawhar sa o le mū, i le tāpuni ai o a onga whatasi ma le tātou campus. O mō students na i upolu nei, o le main gate, mai le iwa i le tae au i le pusa, ia tuu i lau assignment, ia toi taliu loi lo a inga. Mō Savai students, e nai ai le office o le Universite o Samoa i le maketi sa le longa, o le suga ia mulipola la whaele, ia whaoo i lau assignment mō le aso a tae au. Ina ia mawhai o na au mai le whai ugo le vai aso, ma le amatanga le vai aso fou, ia mō le makaina, ia o na maua tu e fo i leo tongi, ia ma tātou talitalia po a whea, e toi a matai le tātou face-to-face sessions, e pei o na tāu fia i le teimi nei. A tātou iei pere nei vai tau, e whaamalo si a pēr, I encourage you to keep on studying, e le na o le foundation law, a o isi ma tā upu uma, ia anga i atu ai i le o ngā tutonu o le semester, ia ma le tau whai wi o le semester. Wa le alo fia lava la sanga ua iei le atunu i le nei vai tau, ia this is your moment to focus on your studies. This is your moment to maua ua vanoi lo a inga, o lo a vanoi le mudo le te sini mai ai, po lunga fo i o le e-maili, and I'm willing to respond, ia ma whaaso atu nisi mea, o lo o fia mala mai, but whaonga ina o le whaafitai le Universite o Samoa ma le o naga le NUSTV le o lo mawhai o na whaasoa tuai ia tātou wa onga i le nei vai tau. We continue on topic 5. Last Tuesday, le tātou whaasoa ai i le statutory requirements for the functioning of the courts. Ia mauti loa o te tauna manino mala malama. E le ngato nei notes, au uma foi o no whaasoa tuai, whaamai o ia, ma whaama oti atu, ia le whaamatalaina o statutory requirements. Mo mianga whaare tūlafono. Mo mianga o lo whaatonu mai le tūlafono, how the court should function. Nala iei le afoi le function mua, impartiality, ia neutral, ia independent, tūtotasi, ia le whātinonga o ngā luenga le whāmasinonga. E te taulawa o le tūtotasi, aua ne ia liali se whāpito whaitu au ma tūlanga uma whāpena. That is what impartiality means. The court must be independent and the court must be neutral. Second statutory requirement o le fairness, justice. Ia whaia le mea sao. Ia lau ta sia le whaia o le mea tonu ma le sao, that is fairness. Ia le ai fo le whapito, ia le ai fo le whai tu au, e le ma whai o nā mio tonu se whai unga pe a whai e le fair, e le perform i le tūlanga o le whai o le mio tonu justice, tusa ma le tūla whono, whaai unga whai a le whaapasinonga. Lo le tolu, openness, the court must be open to the public. O le sa o le tonga whaai a te tau, o lo au mai le whaavai ia e awa no ai so se teimi. Magana ai e iai whaapasinonga whaapitoa, ia e au mai ele polo inga le whaapasinonga e le mawhai o na awaini se whaalongolongo. Ia mai se whaapasinonga ia whiai whanawiti, whanauteine, tūlanga onga whapena, e iele malo si anga whaapasinonga e vau iai ia le tatala e whaafafonga le lautele o le atununga. Ia ma le lona wha, o le competent jurisdiction, o le whaapatalanga whaafengo fie lava, the right court must hear the right case. On the competent lea, a se o longa winga wa incompetent. So se mea lava incompetent, ua le tusa ma le tūlafono, ua le tusa ma le whaatinonga, a e te tau lava o na whafonga e le whaapasinonga, e te tau ai ma tā upu e tusa ma lea whaapasinonga. Pe o na watu whaateitainga o ma tā upu e a whiai, ia ele whaaleanga nu o Samoa, ia matūlanga whaamatai, pau lava le whaapasinonga e whai ai a competent jurisdiction o le Land and Titles Court. A whai o mata upu foi lea wa kau ai maa ka maiki la vea ai le ka avale, e leo se mea onga whaale tūla whono e whai ai le District Court. Ai a oolo i le maliu se tangata, ia ono se whao lima po le halava o le mea la nai lunga le Supreme Court. Ia o manatua o le Supreme Court o le Principal Court, ia magana ai la e maualunga atuai ia le Court of Appeal o le whaapasinonga le nā e mawhai o le reverse le whai unga a le Supreme Court. But back to the statutory requirement, impartiality, fairness, openness, and competent jurisdiction. Yeah, those are the 4 statutory requirements. O lo tu ina mai e le whaavai, ma le tūlafono i lalo le vaenga iwa o le whaavai. My talk for today will focus on common law requirements. Common law requirements, lepe o no whaapatala atu, e iai le rule against bias. Lua, fairness. Tolu, openness. Ia ma le wha, correct application of the law. So those are the 4 common law requirements. Ngā whare ko kako notes that we will examine the requirements evolved by common law courts concerning the functioning and procedures used by the courts. These are rule against bias, principle of natural justice, fairness, openness, and correct application of the law. So those are the 4 common law requirements. Rule against bias. O le rule against bias, e afua mai e gelani. I whaamsinonga e gelani, i tūlanga o le tauma whai i a tangia pēr le whai o le mea sao. Ai mai se la, o le rule against bias, ia vauia le whai au whainga whaai tu au. Ia tau fia, ia mionga e mawhai o nā tangia ai le whaapito. Ia mawhai foi o nā tangia ai le whai o le mea sa. O le wika tonu ale nā e te e nai le common law requirement lea o le rule against bias ia aua nei whaapito le whaapasinonga. Ia aua nei whaapito le whaapasino. Ia whaia le whai unga e au noa ma le whai tu au. Kago e underline ange le upunga le maxim nemo judex causa sua. That is a Latin term. Maxim nemo judex causa sua. O lona winga, o le ngā Latin term, no man shall be a judge of his own cause. No man may be a judge in his own cause. O le winga ngā le Latin term, maxim nemo judex cosa sua. Whataitainga. A whai o se whamasino, sa whai I se iloilonga mua mua. E le ngata o lai le whawai. A o le winga le nā o le Latin term lea. Ia le toia a fia se whamasino. I se whamasinonga po se mata upusa a fia mua mua ai. The whole idea in a rule against bias, ma le maxim nemo juris cosa sua, that the judge must commit to administer justice without fear or favor. A judge must commit to administer justice without fear or favor. Ia le fefe, ia le faituau, ia le whapito, a ia whaatino e le whamasino, e au noa ma le fefe, e au noa ma le faituau, le whaatinonga o le whaia o le whai unga tonu. O le hawha le whai unga tonu. O le whai unga tonu, o le whaia o le whai unga e tusa ma le tulafono. Again, judges are obligated to follow the law. Their decision must be guided by law, and they must interpret the law according to law. Ma le rationale lava le whaatinoia la tunga luenga, ia le atangia se whai tu au. Ia le mawhai o na atangia mai se whai unga, ia se whaapito, favoritism. Mena le whai koe, they must administer justice. They must administer justice without fear or favor. A wau mauti noa lava, e tupu lo le mea lea, wātangia le bias o se whamasinonga, po wātangia le bias o le whamasino, wale tonu whai unga, wale sao le whai unga, wale tatau wai le whai unga. There's no fairness in it, pēr whai tūlai mai ni whai unga whapea, ua whaia I se tūlanga whapito pe whai tu au. E te lele sota inga, it connects with our onga le tuspaia. It connects I le whai o le mea sao ma le whai o le mea tonu. Exactly o le winga lea o le rule against bias. Ia aua ne I fefe le whamasino, ia aua ne I whai tu au le whamasino, e mafua na fefe o na whai tu au. A whai ma le fefe le whai unga, e le sao na whai unga. A whai ma le whai tu au le whai unga, ua matua le tonu ale na whai unga. So they are obligated to do justice without fear or favor. O le winga tonu ale na o le rule against bias. Le la kaku whasolo solo aku. Ia lesi la lea Latin term. Odi alteram patem. It's a rule. Odi alteram patem is a Latin term. O le Latin term kanga kusia ngai au kafa. Odi alteram patem. O le winga, hear the other side. Hear the other side. That's a simple meaning. Odi alteram patem, hear the other side. But this principle, after by the natural justice, that's part of rule against bias. Natural justice, e whamakalainga o le rule of fair play. Natural justice is rule of fair play. That was developed by the courts of equity in England to control the decision of inferior or subordinate courts to apply equally to the decision of administrative and domestic tribunals and of any authority exercising an administrative power that affects a person, a person's status, rights or liability. Ole e afua mai I whaamasinonga o Engelani. E tau whātonu tonu ai le whaamasinonga. Ia po court fo ia I lalo ifo. Ia lawa ta sia pe tutusa o nga administer ia le whai o whaamasinonga I tonu tribunals. Ia awane ia afia ai ia te tau o tangata ma afianga o tangata. Awa so se whaamasinonga e afia ona ua soli le natural justice. My friend Peter Ilalo, any decision reached in contravention of natural justice is deemed void and ultra vires. Void means no legal effect, another Latin term. Void, no legal effect. Ultra vires, outside powers. Koe whamauane, koe amaka mai le only alteram pattern, here the other side. O le void, no legal effect, ma le ultra vires, outside powers. They are all Latin terms. Le whaungaina I le whatinonga o ta upu tau tū la whono. So on the alteram pattern, here the other side, mai fo I laku le fesini ai e fia kenge ma mafa mai fo fe mai listen to the other side. Ese. Ole here the other side, it differs from listen to the other side. So karisao mai here the other side. Ai aua ke fia fengi mai listen to the other side. Leanga ole listen ole whaalongo I ausitai a ole here. Ia tuatu la vanoa e te whaalongo ai I manatu lai au mai o lona e se senga le nā. So, a waku eila se fesini, o le meaning o le only alteram pattern, o le kali here the other side. Back to natural justice. Rule of fair play. O le whaia o le mea sili o na sao, sili o na tonu. E peila o le only alteram pattern. Here the other side. E le aise whaamasinonga e whaia le vaos tangata stotasi. There's always, in civil cases, a plaintiff and a defendant. In criminal cases, it's the police against the accused. So now you know, e le mawhaigo whapea e kasia, le wingala lea o le mau lea, only alteram pattern, here the other side, ia whaeloi le isi ku, ma ia whafonga le whaamasinonga, ia le whinaunga le isi tu. O ka kako koe whoilola ia I lunga le adversarial system, that is where lawyers represent parties, they argue the law, they submit evidence, they call witnesses, they submit all the information together with affidavits, and then the judge will decide, judge sitting alone. So we got that for natural justice, the court must hear the other side. The court must investigate the other side. I wonder if I pito tasi, fai piko kasi na le kasi le kue su e wale sao. Wale eise principle of natural justice. Wale administrainga le justice. Wale play I le rule of fair play. O le winga, wase se. Wale atoa, wale moni, wale sao. Le fai unga o le mafua anga le na defe mai ai. So se fai unga e le tusa, the principle of natural justice, it will deem void. When something is void, leiso na malusi anga wha tula fono. Ultra vires, ia ua se ese atu I tua mane li o le tula fono. Kangoe kusi lalo. Intravires, e ele intravires, ultravires lea ma le extravires. Intravires within within powers. Intravirus within powers, ultravirus outside powers. Iela ma le extravirus, o le beyond powers. O le whamatalaina, when a decision is just, a sa'olewhai unga, o lona winga intravirus, nai within powers o le whamasino, e na te whai ai le whai unga sao. Ai a se loa ma le tūlafono wa outside powers ua ultravirus. Pei lara whāteita inga a whai mai le whai unga o le whaasalanga o le whasio tangata solo a toa le whare pui pui ai a mai le unga le whamasino rā le lua vai aso le whare pui pui. Wa le tūsa ma le tūlafono ua exceed longa power na te le ma whai o na whai se whai unga whapea i le sori tūlafono le whasio tangata. So that means, ele ngata wa outside powers, our beyond powers. And the message is, if I know my decisions of the court and the judges must be within powers, intravirus. Once ultravirus were outside powers, wa la e se atu malona malosi e tau na whai ese whai unga. Extravirus, ia wa extravirus, yeah, were way beyond. Reasonable notice must be given of allegation made against a person in court proceedings. Maratua fo'i le kako 7 steps i le kako topic 4 alega umaku last week. The plaintiff files a statement of claim with the registrar of the court. That's step 1. Fai maila i step 2. Serve the other party. That's natural justice. Lisi ga example of natural justice. O le process. I le whakingo le process. Ia whaailoa i le kūle wa whai i le kangi. Leo wa i le tangi. Pei foi o leo. A whaulu le kangia leo, e charge le kangaka, e kau i le kangaka, o leo ua mō lia oi le ngaoi, po o leo ua mō lia oi le whasi kangaka po le alava. Reasonable notice must be given of allegations made against a person in court proceedings. E le mawhaine tupu le mea, it's breach of natural justice. Le ke ia o mai loka aku, o mai leo loka aku. They can't do that. E le ma whai whape ngofo ale o leo whio sofi lau kawane o mai lo whane loka aku oe. E kakaua o mai whaamatala mai, mako o mai e loka aku oe, o masalomia oe, o malea. They should inform you. E kakaua o ngakau aku, that is another step of natural justice. Rule of fair play, whai le mea sao. Lesi lana winga, ia manino lesi tū, ia, that's in criminal matters pēr whai o soni ngā tūlafono. E whapea foi la i civil matters, a whai wa whaulu le kangi a le plaintiff by a statement of claim i le registrar of the court. Second step, serve the other party. Ia i loa le defendant, o leo wa whaulu mai le kangi al bank ia oe, wa leko kongia lau loan. Inform the other party, inga ia mawhai o ngā kali mai. E ala i le plaintiff malanga statement of claim. So that is what natural justice is all about. It's part of rule against bias, inga ia sa o le lei le process e whaatino ai ngā luenga a le whamasinonga. Lesi vaenga e whamatala ina atili ai, the evidence given against a person must be made known to that person. E le whapea whainga leo akua whai aku iai, ia la ave oe langa leo whai meinga e ngoi. No, e kakau o whamakala iai, o leo a mako maua whamatalanga ma mōli mau, Nga e soli ne, nga e oso fua le whamua le a inga lale ka mai le au whae, bla 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 bla. The evidence o mori mau e te tau na whae loa le tangata leo o moria. Ai le whapea ngā leo aku wā, au mai le ka vale o whapea o lauwhe ua masalomia le ngaoi. So that is another requirement of natural justice. Ia mawhai e o nei loa e le tangata ua moria, e le ngaka o morianga, ai o mori mau, ua mafu ai ia o na whai le morianga. And then we come to a reasonable opportunity must be allowed for a person to respond to allegation and evidence against him or her and to mount his or her own case. Laika la lea, e le ngata la o oe lewa mako mai a maku se whaisu su enga, a o mea uma ia, moli mau uma ia ma tuulo lea mano e le ngaka lea e kari mai ai fo ia. In criminal matters, pe a whainei, ka kaunga i se lo ia. E whasoa i ai le ua molia, ia ma kari le lo ia i tūlanga whapena. O isi vaenga, e ma whaifoi o na whatino, i au wala they can answer to the allegations. Maka kua allegations uma ia, e le o whaamaunia se i vanga nā, ua whaamaunia e le whaamasinonga. Ai ma whai o na whailoe leo. O morianga ia, o mori mau ia lewa mātou maua, o mawhaianga mako whamaugia vaenga ia, o leo le a whai ei morianga ia ki oe. Ia, matu lea wanoe ni tangata e tali ai, pōlanga lo ia malu mora whaamasinonga, pe a whai ei. So, that is natural justice. Rule against bias, male process. Ira ia kausisia le whai le mea tonu marisao. Remember, natural justice or the rule of fair play. It also has to do with fairness. Rule of fair play, o le whai o le mea sao, ma le whai o le mea tonu, e tusa ma le tula fono. So, o le key factor la ngā leo kako kilo iai, i le vaenga leo le common law requirement for the functioning of the courts. Then come the second common law requirement, e kukusale leia ma le melenka ko whaia i le Tuesday. Fairness is to do with justice. Whapenga foi ma le openness. Openness, the court must be open to the public. Not only fairness and openness, it's a statutory requirement, it is also a common law requirement. They are also common law requirements. So, common law requirement, rule against bias, natural justice. Secondly, fairness. And then, thirdly, or the openness. Ia kako saulola ia kamalonga fa. The fourth, all the whaingo fia ia. Correct application of law. Correct application of law. That's the fourth common law requirement. So, you must note, the court interpret the law. Not only they interpret the law, they also apply the law. So, what do you think? What does correct application of the law means? Koe mawhawhau. The hint leo whai kua, it is the function of the court to interpret the law, whawinga. And also, they apply the law. Alakunal fesini le suenga. What do you think? What does it mean by correct application of law, ilalo or a common law requirement? What will be your answer? Ma ai fo I e ngofo fai mai se kali ke le lava e se se. But give me a simple answer. What does it mean by correct application of law? Kawe kusinalo. Simple answer. judges must apply the laws correctly. Correct application of the law simply means judges of the courts must apply the laws correctly because they know the law, they interpret the law, and they also apply the law. In this common law requirement, they are required to apply the laws correctly. Means, no mistake, no misinterpretation. It should be according to law and must apply the laws correctly. Le wingalaga o le fourth common law requirement, judges must apply the laws correctly. They are well trained. They are well qualified. Le whakaoko mai ai, vaengon tulafono e muli tai ai whaamasino i le whaatinonga o a lātou whaaiunga ina ia tusa ma le tulafono. So, just to refresh, back to the statutory requirement, impartiality, fairness, openness, ia ma le competent jurisdiction. Common law requirement, rule against bias, which is natural justice or rule of fair play, fairness, openness, correct application of the law. So, lela wailongei statutory and common law requirements require a functionai i al whaamsinonga. Now we move on to the last part of our lecture. Who are involved in courts and what are their roles? Who mans the courts? O ai e whaangaio i ina ia le whaamasinonga. Oh, well, mua judges. Judges and magistrates are called adjudicators. Judges and magistrates are also called adjudicators. Let's say the distinction of judges and magistrates, how they appointed and their removal, their role in deciding cases and making law, what is expected of judges in their judicial behavior, the competency of judges, distinction of wrong decision from a bad decision of judges, the statutory requirement of impartiality, the common law requirement of natural justice, their judicial code of conduct. So, whaamsino. Ese umalafa tinonga o whaamsinonga ese e iai, ai tutusa lava. La lātou au nanga, o le whaawinga, o le tulafono. Ia malere tota au manei ang kako kalagoa iei, and apply the laws correctly. Ia whaatasi ei malawaega le nalo au by the statutory of requirement of impartiality, which is independence, and the common law requirement of natural justice, or the judicial code of conduct, e te tau o na whaatino ai au ranga a le whaamsinonga. Ia whaia tutotasi, ia whaia malesao, ia whaatasi ai ma le judicial code of conduct, le standard of conduct, po len kako diskasinga i le topic 2, le iai le code of ethics, what is ethical and what is not ethical. That is to do with the standard of conduct in reference to the judges. But they are the judges who head and runs the court. O whaamsino, o la tau e ana le whaamsinonga, i le whaatinonga o ngā luenga le whaamsinonga. O le jury, they are lay adjudicators and a collection of ordinary citizens who are selected randomly to decide on high-profile criminal cases. A jury will decide cases and determine sentencing. Wala na o maya for you to know my malama, but ele practicing a Samoa jury system. E practice fiki, e practice New Zealand, fa penam Australia, ma tele o tunu. They practice the jury system. E fili mai tangata nuu mai le teimi ma le no whanga lo whaiani whamsinonga. O la tou te whaalongo whatasi ma le whamasino. Ai mai se lava on high profile criminal cases. And then a jury will decide pe guilty, pe le guilty. Ia, o la tau fwoi whautuaina ia le whamasino e winga I le whasalanga. But as I said, it's good for you to know, but ele practicing a Samoa ia le jury system. Magana ai la o le assessors. Assessors are also known as lay people like members of a jury who do not have legal background or legal qualification, but are used by the court to assist the judge in determining the facts and assist the judge in making his decision. Kama kusia nei lalo, assessors. Assessors in a high-profile criminal case, Isamone, they are judges of the facts. Assessors are judges of the facts, whereas a judge is a judge of the law. So in high-profile criminal cases, the judge is the judge of the law, and he heads the courts, and he heads the investigation, and he heads the hearing or the trial. Whereas assessors, they are judges of the facts, and they assist the judge in making the decision. Okay, ko kene la fasini o anga mea facts. Assessors are judges of the facts. Kago kusi lalo, facts of a case is an account of what exactly happened. Facts of the case is an account of what exactly happened. Again, assessors are judges of the facts. Facts of the case meaning an account of what exactly happened. Ia whakaikainga whapea o le ka vale wala vea I lalo aku le engalei magiangi a leiluga maile NUS. Whapea o le ka vale and wakwa I NUS sawa I lalo le enga la vea loa ko rua kakama liwai. Assessors, they will be the judges of the facts. La ko ke vai po le ale kai bigaro e se koe le ka vale ma le NUS o le ale sawa ka fua koe pe iegi mori mau kilo iai o le ale sawa ngai foi me umala. Those are the facts of the case. So assessors, they are judges of the facts, and the judge is the judge of the law. Note, they assist the judge in making the decision. They assist. They don't make the decision. They assist the judge and determine the facts, and the decision is made. But their role and their function as judges of the facts, they assist the judge in making the decision. So, all the assessors ga le practice ya ka koi Samoa gei ia whakasi ai. Ma le jury system e leo practicing ai Samoa, I practice I whiki ma New Zealand, ia but not Samoa. Okay, lawyers. Lawyers as officers of the courts, the obligation of the lawyer is to represent their clients through their contractual duties, their tortious duties and equitable duties, their duty to the courts, their ethical responsibility, and their code of conduct. Lawyers level umaka kofaya, they represent the parties. Maola ko kiukera nga, through their clients, they also have ethical responsibilities, and they are to comply with the code of conduct. Samoa, we have the Office of the Attorney General, who provide legal service to the government and perform duties of Solicitor General. It also prosecutes on behalf of the police. In other countries, they have the Office of the Attorney General, and they also have the Office of Solicitor General, but not in Samoa. Probably sisi kaimi le lumangai, al kaimi ngai, it is the Office of the Attorney General, FESOLA'I Aleni, function of the Office of the Attorney General, or the main function of the Attorney General, or to provide legal advice to the government. And it also prosecutes on behalf of the police. That is the function of lawyers, i Kongo and Whamasinonga. Then, other officers of the court, the police. The police in every country are the protectors of law and order. In most countries, including Samoa, the constitution of the police force is governed by the Police Act. Ye fola tula fono e whaatino i nai i a lātou au nanga. So listen, the police are also known as officers of the court. Don't be mistaken. Only police who are assigned to the court, they are known to be officers of the court. Ai lefa pea o leo uma o officers of the court. Wa ia leo la tau te whatino la tu tiu te ile whamasinonga. E escortinga le whamasino, ia tausia le mamalu o le whamasinonga. O la tau lana e taua o officers of the court. Ai lefa pea o le leo lai kiuke trafiki i le magakonu lai fea le ai. Only those who are assigned to the court, they are known to be officers of the courts. Al telefo o whamasinonga ia fiale o leo, e le ngata o la tau e whaia morianga, a iei fo ia le whamasinonga whai tūmalo, e tūla ia leo, ia e whaatino i longa al whamasinonga, a lunga la le Supreme Court, o prosecutors, len tatu whaia voi prosecutors, they are lawyers from the Office of the Attorney General. They represent the police and the victim in high-profile criminal cases. Ia kako se mai la le court administration, we have clerks, la tau e lago ina whatinonga o ngā luenga le whaamsinonga, ia e mai se foi la o le registrar, ia po le stala le whaamsinonga. Le stala le whaamsinonga, ia e tofia le malo, ma le ofisa, ia ma le Supreme Court, ia e whatinonga ma tai uluai le ofisa o whaamsinonga, pe ona iei fo i le nei vai tau. Officers of the court include court interpreters, court stenographer. Interpreter, ia e whaaniliu. O le court stenographer, o le officer of the court who keeps records of the court proceedings, or who take notes of court proceedings. Ia, ma le terminology le ngai whai, wale kako lecture i ngai aso. Adversarial system lewa umang kako whaia. The judge listens and assesses the evidence presented before him, assess the submission, assess the arguments by the parties, and then decides the case. Adjudicators, people who listen to a case and give ruling, example of judges. Competent, being capable of doing your work, possessing the skill, knowledge, and experience to do the work efficiently. Ia whātaulea mo tangata whātinoina o lātou tiute, ia competent i le whāpasinonga. Independent, having one's own opinion or work with no interference from others. Winga leo tuto tasi. Impartial, being neutral and fair, not biased. Jury, lewa umagako tiskasinga. Ia malelei adjudicators, assessors. Ia malelei adjudicators, those who listen and decide a case but are not legally qualified. Okay, that's our lecture for today. And that completes topic 5, Marakua, statutory requirement and common law requirement to the functioning of the courts. Ia e manatua, seisi le vaenga, ia e manino ma e malama ai i le whātinonga o ngā luenga al whāpsinonga o isi ia vaenga o le pita upu whātula whono leo lo tau mawhai e ao a ui nai o tau. Ia, to e whamanatua atu, passion reminder, ma aile assignment 2 le diu tai ao. And then we'll know by next week pe to e amata tātou lectures pe le ai, pe continue pea, but very soon wakakau o ngā waku le kaku assignment 3, which will be a major assignment. Ia ta pena fo iai. If you go back to topic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, o lea so solo le lei mai ama connect le topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, topic 4, court proceedings, ma le topic 5, all the statutory and common law requirements of function I court. So you should have a good idea of how to tackle your studies and focus your studies. Ia kako topics here wa uma. Then we continue next week i le whaawawina o le tātou aoaonga. Ia pe face to face, ia pe whaawau pea i lunga o le auaunanga a le NUSTV. Final words, focus on your studies, stay well, stay safe, maguia le gei aso soifua.